So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Roswell in the 21st century is a detailed re-examination of the Roswell UFO crash case. I have studied the evidence for more than 30 years, and I now put that evidence under a microscope in a cold case examination of the facts. These facts might not please everyone. They are based on my comprehensive investigation that took years to complete, but they do lead to the conclusion that whatever fell was not built on Earth. The best of Project Blue Book is based on the 22-year-long investigation conducted by the Air Force. But the book goes far beyond that, bringing in evidence that was uncovered long after Project Blue Book was ordered terminated. Using facts that were unavailable to the Air Force investigators, I was able to prove that the Air Force manipulated the data and drew unrealistic conclusions about the UFO sightings reported to them. My different perspective shows there was more to Project Blue Book than even the Air Force knew. Both books are available at Amazon.com.
Join Patty Conklin and Healing Within Radio each week. More than entertainment, Healing Within offers educational, useful tools for everyday life. Listen for help overcoming fear, anxiety, and depression. Patty knows about eliminating cancer, MS, dementia, Parkinson's, and a host of illnesses that we face every day. Life can be good. Life is good. All you need are simple tools to start changing your life. Start right now by visiting pattyconklin.com, PATTICONKLIN. No matter where you are in the world, you can work with Patty through Skype, phone, or in person, visiting one of her retreats in Georgia. Visit pattyconklin.com today or call our offices at 404-474-0086. That's pattyconklin.com or call 404-474-0086.
The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, rel-mar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Niagara, Ontario, Canada. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. For the broadcast schedule of the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. And for the X Zone TV channel exclusive to Simul TV, www.simultv.com. My guest this hour is Larry Porter, and we're going to be talking about Intuitive Health. Now, let me give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be talking about with Larry. For over 25 years, L.D. Porter has provided extraordinary psychic distance healing for clients with severe and chronic illnesses. In addition to his healing practice, J.D. has presented international workshops and summits. Now, this is a disclaimer from his website. This does not furnish medical advice. Any diagnosis, treatment, or care of a patient should be discussed with a physician. The work is not intended to replace personal medical care from a licensed healthcare practitioner. This work is considered spiritual guidance. Do not discontinue medications prescribed to you by your doctor. Do not make any changes to your medication without first consulting your doctor. Now, his website is ldintuitive.com. That's www.ldintuitive.com. And Larry, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you very much. It's so good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm sorry, we had a disconnect there.
Yeah, we're on a cell phone with Larry X Zone Nation, so this is what happens when we connect with a guest on cell phone. So be patient with us. So Larry, the question I asked you was, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm a little unique, out of the ordinary. I was born on a farm, a 200-acre farm in East Texas. We grew pine trees, vegetables, and cattle. My father, ironically, was a retired pharmacist, and so I grew up around a medical field. Doctors were friends, pharmacists were friends, and pharmacists were in the family. I was born to an older mother. I was an only child, and as a result, I grew up alone on this farm. But my friends were animals, trees, nature, especially the feeling for nature and the feeling for animals. And I carried this feeling on into areas with my human friends. And these days I think we call it hypersensitive. We're sensitive to many things, the people, their feelings, their surroundings, how they affect us. So that's a little bit of the basis and the background I come from in my work and development.
All right. Now, how did you realize that you had the ability to use psychic gifts and then become an intuitive?
Well, it's one of those gradual things you evolve into. As a child growing up, as I said, we develop those sensitivities. In high school, we have other sensitivities, and we realize we're kind of a loner and we have to act in order to fit in with the group. And then in college, we began reading, and we developed friends who do have psychic tendencies and sensitivities. And later on, after college days in the 80s, I became acquainted with very fine psychics and healers. Some were nurses, some were medical, others were true psychics and intuitives. In the 90s, I spent time with the great Amish healer Solomon Wiki, and about 2 years of working with him, 3 days a week. And we saw some things which many people would consider miraculous, everything from healing cancer to wishes to dissolving humors, etc. So it was a slow evolution through the years. I'm 68 now, and I'm still young.
You're 68 years young. So when did you get into the distant healing realm?
Well, as I say, it really developed in the 80s. We had some metaphysical things happening to us, and when I say us, I usually speak in the collective because I never feel like I'm alone. I feel like I have a group, a spiritual group, if you will, that works with me. They come to me, and especially when we're working with someone in depth. So I would say it really started developing in the 80s. I was sent out to Hopi territory, to the Anasazi territory. I lived in Flagstaff for a number of years, and I explored a lot of areas out there. I was sent out there from Texas. I had a restaurant at the time, sent out there from Texas, and was told to go to the spiritual sacred places of the Hopi and Anasazi, and I explored a lot of those areas, felt a lot of things that all felt like home to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't grow up there. And healing was always one of the primary subjects, it seemed, that it was pointing to, especially for me.
Okay,
so it all grew out of there.
All righty, but I understand that you were you were working in the music industry as a pianist and as a piano repair person or piano tuner. If the gift was that prevalent, why would you have to work in the music industry instead of just 100% with your gift?
Well, my training throughout. I started as a small child with the piano. Not a true prodigy, but I was well developed as a pianist, classical piano, and I went on through college. I have degrees in music. I've taught at several universities, piano and music, and I give regular performances in classical piano. That is my training, my background, my degrees, my profession, so to speak. However, in the 90s, I did, as I said, study and work with Solomon Wiki, the great Amish healer. And from there, I became more public and started working openly and publicly. And in the early 2000s, we developed a website, and we've been working ever since in the public. Slowly, I drew away from music, and the healing work has become all-consuming. I consider, unfortunately, music now just a hobby because the healing is primary, and we have to assume it's very important because of the results we get and what we're doing for people.
So when it comes to the distance healing that you do, how do you do what you do if you have no medical training?
Yes, well, it's not medical. And
all right, let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase the question then. If you have had no medical training, how are you able to make diagnoses or know what you're doing is the right thing when you do these distant healings that you do?
Yes, that's a very, very good question. And we're all trained, in America at least, to think in terms of medicine and diagnosis and symptoms and problems and disease.
Right.
I don't work in that respect. I respect the medicine. I want to hear what the doctors have said. It's very important to me. I work with a doctor at times. But I work, we have to say, in a spiritual, nonlinear fashion. I go to a person, and it's somewhat in a type of hypnosis that we go. And we feel things about the person. We feel things about the body. And as a result, we may see tumors. We may see pain. And from there, we can go and usually reduce these things. Pain reduction is a very common thing. I've got some good verbal testimonies on the website.
All right, I want to stick away from testimonies because I cannot validate them, and if I can't validate anything, I don't want the listeners to hear it.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, stand by. You and I have to take our first commercial break. X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Larry Porter. His website is just a second here, ldintuitive.com. www.ldintuitive.com. Are you a believer or are you a skeptic? Send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. And, of course, I love hearing from you, whether it's good, negative, or somewhere in between. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in Niagara, Ontario, Canada. Once again, send me your emails, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And we'll be back on the other side of this break. Whatever you do, do not go away. Are you looking for psychic services that empower as well as provide accurate information? Jenny is a third-generation psychic with extensive esoteric training. A practicing professional intuitive for over 30 years, her accuracy is astounding. While most psychics can read what will happen to you if you don't change directions, Jenny understands the future is subjective. While there is a river of time we all traverse, that river has many waves, eddies, currents, and tributaries from which to choose. With Jenny as your guide, you can explore the many possible outcomes in the river of time and navigate your course to the one of your liking. Take control of your future. Book your life-changing session with Jenny today at www.gen-e.net. That's www.gen-e.net.
Mission Evolution is dedicated to the well-being of the planet and animals, as well as the evolution of humankind. One major factor threatening all three is increasing toxicity. Heavy metals and other environmental toxins are poisoning our bodies, deteriorating our brains, blocking our spiritual connection, and shortening our lives. Yet these poisons are extremely difficult to remove. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, and I recently became aware of a product created from the marriage of nature and nanotechnology called Vitality. It's formulated from zoolite, whose crystalline structure binds toxins, gently carrying them out of the body. The light is only as clear as the window through which it shines. Clear your body, shine your light into the world. Visit vitalityhappens.com for a 20% discount. Enter code PATHHOME.
In the mid-1990s, I was approached by a young woman who believed she'd been abducted by alien creatures. In conversations, I began a journey that took me not into the world of interstellar travel, but back through time into past lives. Under hypnotic regression administered by a professional rather than describing abduction, Jenny, as she is called, begins to tell a tale of horror in 19th century London. Her unbelievable past life seems to connect with Jack the Ripper and other monsters of the past. Throughout the session, Jenny provides a rich detail of her past lives that links some of the most horrific killers in history to one another. Using the resources of a university library in the pre-internet day, I was able to verify some of Jenny's claims. She has knowledge that wasn't readily available to a suburban housewife. Does this prove the reality of her tales? Conversations attempts to answer that and other provocative questions. Conversations is available at Amazon.com.
Larry Porter's our guest this hour. ldintuitive.com is his website. Now, before we went to the break, you were just starting to tell us about the distant healing you do, and you said that you use hypnosis. How do you hypnotize somebody long distance?
I don't really use hypnosis. It's similar to hypnosis in the fact that they become very relaxed, and I do too. I'm not a hypnotherapist. But through this relaxation process, we're able to somehow release and convert an energy or a healing aspect to the body, and it improves the body and brings it back to normal or with improvements one after the other.
So would you say that your techniques are somewhat like Edgar Cayce's?
I greatly admire Edgar Cayce. And I felt parallels to what he does. As you know, he would go into trances. Mine aren't really trances, but we get very sleepy and very relaxed. He would usually tell people what would be a healthy remedy for them or so forth. We go a step further. If we see a tumor or if we see pain, we usually try to dissolve it, and we're usually successful.
Oh, okay. Now, how do you see this tumor? Let's use the tumor for an example. Somebody contacts you, and you put them into this trance state or a state of relaxation. How do you diagnose a tumor in this person?
Usually I don't diagnose it. I'm a last resort. Usually they've been to all the doctors, all the oncologists, everyone, and other healers, and they usually come to me last, and they have a pretty good idea of their issues. And they have MRI scans, et cetera, mini scans, so they know where the tumors are.
Okay, now do they send you copies of these scans? Do you view these scans to collaborate the information that they're sending you?
No, I really don't need them or use them. Just an approximate discussion of where they are, what they're feeling, and then we go to that area.
So why do you think they go to you last? Is it desperation?
I think so in many cases, unfortunately. When we have a deadly illness, we try everything, and we look in every direction. And I'm one of the last directions people look in, and certainly one of the last directions people would believe in. They usually don't believe it until we have a session or two, and then they start seeing evidence within themselves. They start feeling the difference. During a session on the phone, they will usually feel a body shift in temperature, tingling in certain areas. They'll certainly usually feel pain alleviation, etc.
But could this not be part of the placebo effect? I mean, if medical professionals and other psychic healers have had no success, how come you can be so successful? Well,
I don't claim it. I don't do it. It comes through me.
Okay.
And all I know is we see success. People, their number one question is, can you heal me? Well, I don't know. I don't do any healing. I just go with you in the session, and what comes through me and to you is not of me.
Well, who is it or what is it that actually goes through you that is able to accomplish these feats that medical professionals and other psychic intuitives can't?
I don't know.
You must have some idea.
I've been wondering this for years. We've been looking for answers, and we don't have answers.
You know, you must have an idea because you call it spiritual guidance.
Yes, I think that's a pretty good description.
So who is this spirit, and how did you connect with this spirit?
I don't have names. I don't have categories. I do feel there is a group of spiritual people who work with me.
Okay.
One may be my father, who's deceased, and some others. But I can't give names because it's too indefinite. I don't think it would be inaccurate to try to be accurate, if that makes any sense.
It would be inaccurate to be accurate.
Yes, to try to be accurate and to try to be specific. It's not linear. It's not logical. We can't put a finger on it.
Okay, now in the information that you sent my producers, you claimed that you have been able to cure people or make people better who have had cancer?
Have them have improvements and actually shrinkage of tumors, etc. Not in every case. We have lost people. I claim no cures at all. I don't really use the word cure, but we do use the word improvement because it's very evident. There's a lot of times every session there's an improvement. There's an accumulation of improvements.
Now, are these improvements documented by the medical community as well?
Some are. If you go to my website, there's a well-known, well-respected medical doctor who works with me at times, and he's seen these things happen over and over through time.
Well, my question is why do you need a medical doctor with you when these people have gone through medical the medical community, and in your own words, you've been the last choice or the last resort.
Medical doctors are so important to me because they know the anatomy, they know the chemistry and everything else behind. So I think we tend to supplement each other. I like to stand in the background of the medical doctors and give other spiritual criteria, shall we say, or see if there's a cancer, see why 20 years ago, what implemented and what instigated that cancer to happen, whether it be a car wreck or a rape, a traumatic situation. A lot of times that comes to mean we can see that and we can question the client more and look in depth at the reasons.
All right, let me ask you this. Does the doctor get to see the person who contacts you? I won't use the word client, but the person who contacts you for your services, does he get to see the medical chart? Does he get to see for example, the MRI scans, the X-rays, the blood work?
Yes, we've done this at times. Let me make a note. This doctor that works with me is not only an internist for a hospital, he has a huge background in energy medicine. So he's seen and does both sides of the fence very, very well.
So this doctor
knows how to complement each.
This doctor is an MD?
He's a DO and an internist, has been for. He's presently an internist for a hospital right now.
What is a DO?
Microbiologist also.
What is a DO?
Doctor of osteopathy. It's similar to an MD. There's a little different emphasis on the body. I wouldn't want to go into detail on the differences, but they work just like a doctor does.
And I would imagine you're talking about Dr. Robert Schroeder at this point.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Very exceptional man in both areas.
Oh, all right. Now, so the patient contacts you. I just want to know if I've got it straight. The patient contacts you. Do you do a consultation with Dr. Schroeder on all cases?
Oh, no, just special ones. Usually the most intensive cases I work with, I'll ask him to come in and join, and then they may send him medical reports, et cetera, which, of course, he can interpret and understand.
Gotcha. Now, do your clients or the people who come to you, do they have to pay for the services of Dr. Schroeder on top of your services?
At present, they're not. He's donating his time.
And what is your fee that you charge per hour?
Presently, I'm charging $3.95 for 2 phone sessions. That would be like a Tuesday and a Thursday, 1 phone session each day.
A full phone session, a full 8 hours?
45 minutes to an hour each phone session, and then
so let me get this straight. You're charging $395. You're charging $395 for healing sessions for a maximum of 2 hours.
No, for a maximum of 3 days if it was Tuesday and Thursday.
Well,
I work with this person off the phone. The work continues. It doesn't have to be on the phone.
I see.
And
okay,
I continue working with this person, and I ask them each day to email me and give me their condition.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our break. We'll be back on the other side. Oh, X-Zone Nation.
Okay.
More on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Niagara, Ontario, Canada. Don't forget, send me your emails. X-Zone at XZoneRadioTV.com. The website is ldintuitive.com. My guest is Larry Porter.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. Audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, XZone Radio TV. For more information on the XZone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the XZone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, XZone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Nation, Larry Porter is our guest. His website is ldintuitive.com. So Larry, let me just try and get this straight. When somebody retains your services, that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that they would have you working on them?
Yes, whatever the situation calls for.
Okay.
When I get a stage 4 cancer person, I may work with them 3 times a day for the first 2 or 3 days to turn the situation around, to get them out of some pain and get it in a forward process. It just depends. On someone with a mental issue, it may be once a week we meet.
Okay, so you not only deal with physical ailments, but you also deal with mental issues?
Yes, in many cases, you know, they're all the same. They're all interconnected, and we find mental, emotional, traumatic issues that cause many physical issues.
Okay,
and medicine may see only the physical issues, and it's our job to look deeper spiritually into what may be the root causes of these things.
You use the word "we" and "our," which would tend to tell me that you do not do this alone. Who else works with you?
spiritual being, shall we say. I don't know more definition than that.
Okay.
But I feel like there is a spiritual group that works with me and gives me information.
Isn't it a little dangerous playing with somebody's psychic if you're not a professional? Could you not, in fact, cause more harm than good?
Not with what we do. We see what should be improved, and we try to make improvements. Many times, someone's thought processes might be affected by lack of circulation, and we're working with increasing the circulation and improvement there.
All right, lack of circulation. Why wouldn't a doctor, who these people, I hope they've gone to prior to seeking alternative health, why wouldn't a doctor pick that up in a simple blood test and, cardio checkup would be able to, hone in on that right away?
Yes, and many times they do.
Okay.
And spiritually, sometimes we can have an effect where chemicals and medicine cannot or do not. So we go in those directions.
All right. So the we that you're talking about is you and your spiritual guides, I would imagine.
Yes, you could call it that.
Okay.
Yes.
But once again, Larry, I've been in this business. This is our 30th year doing this show, and over the years, I've had so many intuitive healers come on. And my question to them, as it's going to be to you right now, if what you're doing is so successful, why doesn't Western medicine take it up as a serious way of curing people?
I can't answer that.
Why not?
I don't know.
Have you asked Dr. Schroeder?
It's not that simple. This is not black and white. I do know Western medicine is becoming to have a more open door to intuitive work.
Right.
If you read Larry Dossey's books, he has a large database on prayer and its effect on healing and things like that. So he's laid a large foundation for Western medicine to go by in terms of the intuitive spiritual side of things and how it can affect healing.
In your opinion, how much does one's faith in you and spirituality play in their change of feelings?
Mine may be very different from a lot of healers. I do not work with the idea of faith. I do not work with the idea of concepts or techniques.
Well, wait a second here. Hold on here. You just contradicted yourself because you said you do not work with faith. In order for somebody to believe in you, they must have faith in you and what you do.
No. Not at all.
So you mean someone? So you mean
we've proven this to be true with past clients. Many clients do not know I'm working with them, and they improve because we use an intermediary person. They may be in a coma in ICU, and they come out of it.
Wait a sec. Hold on here. Okay, you're getting a little ahead of me here. So even if a person may be a skeptic, if they're conscious, or whether the person is unconscious, which brings me to a point of how do you know that the person who is unconscious actually wants you to invade their privacy, their spirituality, and work on them?
I have an intermediary person I work with if they're unconscious.
Well,
it may be a daughter, it may be the mother, and they ask me to go through them to work on a person. Would you pray for someone that you didn't get their permission first?
I'm not charging these people $395 to pray. I'm doing it from the goodness of my heart. I'm not. When I pray for somebody, I don't send them a bill. I don't say, "Hey, listen, give me the $395 first, and then I'll work on you." So that's the difference between me praying for somebody.
I'm sorry, I can't argue with a skeptical attitude.
With a what?
I'm sorry, skeptical attitude.
Oh. You can't argue with the... I'm sorry, you're breaking up here. Hello?
With a skeptical...
Oh, skeptical.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Skeptical
attitude.
But not everybody believes in intuitive healing, Larry.
It's okay.
So what happens? What would happen, Larry? Hypothetically now. Somebody's intermediary asks you to act on somebody who is in a coma in a hospital, who is a skeptic, who doesn't believe in faith healing, who doesn't believe in New Age spirituality. They're in a coma. How does that work?
I don't know how it works.
All right, if I was to call you up, if I was to call you up and say, Larry, my sister is in the hospital. She's in a coma. Western medicine cannot do anything else. I looked on the internet and I found you. Can you do something? Can you use whatever it is you use to get her out of this coma? But let's say the sister.
I would tell you I don't know if we could help or not, but we would try.
At that point, when does the person pay you? When the person is healed or prior to you working on them?
They're not paying for healing. They're paying for time. You and I would go down on the phone and spend an hour and see if that made a difference in the person. We would carefully monitor that person through the nurses or their reports or whatever. And if we saw some improvement the next day, you may want to do more.
All right, but how would you get access to the nurses' reports?
We did what we could.
Okay, how would you get access to the nurses' reports and interpret them if you have no medical training?
If your sister was in a coma, you would probably be talking with the hospital 3 or 4 times a day and getting general impressions from the nurses, from the doctors, and seeing if they were improving or going down or what the situation was.
Okay, so you get the...
So you would have an idea if there was betterment or not.
So you're getting the feedback based on the opinion of the intermediary on the person who's got the coma, right? Hello? You would be getting feedback from the medical community around that person. Right, and then I, in return, would give you the interpretation of what I heard from them. Right?
I'm sorry, we broke up a little there. I'm sorry.
I said that you... All right, let's say still using the hypothetical situation that is my dear sister. The nurses tell me how the condition of my sister is, and we used her before I contacted you as the baseline. Based on information given to me by the nurses or the medical staff, I would then relate it to you as to whether or not she's doing better or not.
Yes, a general opinion as to whether she's doing better or not.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our final break. X-Zone Nation. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, Simul Radio, and Simul TV. We'll be back as we wrap up this hour. On the other side of this break, don't go away.
kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
What's making?
In the mid-1990s, I was approached by a young woman who believed she'd been abducted by alien creatures. In conversations, I began a journey that took me not into the world of interstellar travel, but back through time into past lives. Under hypnotic regression administered by a professional rather than describing abduction, Jenny, as she is called, begins to tell a tale of horror in 19th century London. Her unbelievable past life seems to connect with Jack the Ripper and other monsters of the past. Throughout the session, Jenny provides a rich detail of her past lives that links some of the most horrific killers in history to one another. Using the resources of a university library in the pre-internet day, I was able to verify some of Jenny's claims. She has knowledge that wasn't readily available to a suburban housewife. Does this prove the reality of her tales? Conversations attempts to answer that and other provocative questions. Conversations is available at Amazon.com.
Mission Evolution is dedicated to the well-being of the planet and animals, as well as the evolution of humankind. One major factor threatening all three is increasing toxicity. Heavy metals and other environmental toxins are poisoning our bodies, deteriorating our brains, blocking our spiritual connection, and shortening our lives. Yet these poisons are extremely difficult to remove. I'm Gwilda Wiyaka, and I recently became aware of a product created from the marriage of nature and nanotechnology called Vitality. It's formulated from zoolite, whose crystalline structure binds toxins, gently carrying them out of the body. The light is only as clear as the window through which it shines. Clear your body, shine your light into the world. Visit vitalityhappens.com for a 20% discount. Enter code PATHHOME.
X-Zone Nation, our guest this hour is Larry Porter. His website is ldintuitive.com. Going over some of the information that you sent us, my experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients, back to health. Tell me, how do you do that? Stage 4 cancer.
I'm sorry we broke up again. Could you say it again, please?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to know how you miraculously bring back people with stage 4 cancer.
Number one, I don't do it. I don't know how it works. We've questioned this for years. We don't know how it works.
But it works.
We see instances of it working many times, not every time.
What would you say the positive result percentage would be?
Most of the people that sign up with me for a session or two, about 90% of the people will see some improvement. 60 to 70% will see large improvements in their conditions.
All right, I'm talking specifically here of stage 4 cancer.
Each case is totally different.
Okay.
I can name a few cases for you, but each case,
just give me a
there
percentage.
are no general principles or statements.
Oh, just give me a percentage, 50%, 40%, 30%, 20%.
I would say 50% with severe cancer will see some improvement, sometimes significant improvement. They'll get their lives back for a while. We've been known to lose some, and we've been known to have some that improve so that the cancer does disappear. Now, I'm not taking full credit. They may be under medical care also. They may be doing chemo. They may be having other treatments. However, this work is supplemental to that, and apparently in many cases it makes a huge difference.
So it actually could be the work that the medical community is working on that... Well, how do you know whether it's the medical community's work or your work that's doing this improvement?
You have to be there. I'm sorry, I can't give data and statistics on this. If you ask those clients, see what they say, they'll tell you.
My experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients, back to health. You said a few minutes ago that would you say that bringing a person back to health would be equivalent to saying they were cured?
No, I don't use the word cure.
That's right, you don't.
I don't use that.
You don't. You say my experience.
I use the word improvement.
No, you don't, sir. What you have said here.
Yes, I've been.
What you said here was my experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients, back to health. They're your words.
That's what I've seen. Not in every case, in many cases. Or partially back to health, especially with cancer, partially back to health.
But you didn't say that in the information you sent us. The quote is, my experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients, back to health. That leads me to think that what you were saying, and other people that we showed this to, including our senior program director, is that when you say my experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients back to health, when somebody is brought back to health, they are presumably cured.
That was not what I intended to say.
Oh, okay. So that was an error.
Yes, I didn't mean that as an absolute statement every time.
Okay. But has it ever happened where somebody has been totally cured?
Yes, it has happened where not totally cured, I'm not using that word, where there has been no reoccurrence of the cancer, or where the COVID patient is 100% back to where they were before they had COVID.
If what you say is true, and you can, with your guides or whoever is the we and the our in our conversation this past hour, can do what you say you can do, why can't you do a mass healing instead of only when somebody pays you for your time?
I've really tried that in the past years many times.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have teleconferences where we'd invite 20, 50 people to join in and work, usually through a group meditation, and I would direct it. It had positive results, but it never had the effectiveness as a one-on-one did. I'm not doing that at present right now. It's too much energy and not enough results. The one-on-one results gets the results. Usually, not always.
All right, but the energy that you were just talking about that is very wearing on this energy, is that the energy from yourself or from the spiritual assistance that you get?
I don't know. To do a session makes me very tired. It's mental work. I'm drained from it. It's a lot of mental focusing and concentration. So I am drained from it.
How many patients do you take care of at one time?
Ideally, 2, maybe 3 a day.
Wow.
Because there has to be time in between, and I work, the most intense ones I'll work even at night with mentally. This is a mental, ongoing, focusing concentration process we do here. It's not just an appointment where we listen for 45 minutes and then shut down. We're working with that person as long as they're with us.
How does the person who's retained your services actually know that you're doing what you are saying you're doing?
They don't.
Why do they trust
feel it.
Why do they trust you?
Will tell me they feel it, or they see the results.
Have you ever seen a show with Penn and Teller? It's called Bullshit. And what they did was they examined chiropractors, they examined reflexologists, they did Reiki, and they did work with magnets. And what it seems, and having my own experiences not only in radio broadcasting but as a police investigator, what it seems is that a person's will is a lot stronger than what appears to be, but they can also be influenced by a placebo effect and mind over matter, and in some cases sheer bullshit. So how does somebody listening tonight differentiate between snake oil, bullshit, and the real thing?
They feel it, they know it, they can quit any time.
Do they get a refund if it doesn't work?
Sometimes.
Let me
rephrase that question. If they ask for a refund, they get one.
I'm sorry?
If they ask for a refund, they get one.
That's commendable. That's commendable. So,
usually we don't need to do that because they see improvement and they continue wanting more sessions because they're continuing to improve.
You know, I saw an experiment where somebody claimed to have pain, another person claimed to have mental issues, and you know, a fake doctor, that this was all part of the experiment, a fake doctor put non-magnetized magnets on their person. And the people who thought they were getting magnetic therapy said that they could feel an immediate difference, even though the magnets weren't real, just based on a doctor or somebody in authority that they believe is in authority putting those magnets on them. So, once again, how do we know who's legitimate and who's not?
I can't say. I can't even address the question. I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Larry. It's been a challenge, to say the least. Exo Nation, in my opinion, and after hearing this, I'm sure your opinion is the same, that this is a non-factual testimonial. He wanted us to check out his testimonies. Anybody can, put whatever they want on their website. I give that no credence. But I will tell you, this is exactly what he sent to us. In amongst the Q&A that all guests sign, my experience bringing stage 4 cancer patients, COVID-19 patients, back to health. I didn't say it, he did. And, in the words of the great Penn and Teller, this is another example of bullshit. I'm Rob McConnell. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Whatever you do, don't go away. Unless it's to wipe the bullshit off of you that was spewed by this last hour's guest.